Every bite you take is part of something bigger. Whether you're munching on a sandwich or sipping a smoothie, you're participating in one of nature's most fascinating systems, the food chain. Think of a food chain as nature's version of who eats whom, a step-by-step story of energy passing from one organism to another, starting with the sun and ending with decomposers that recycle everything back into the system. It all begins with the sun. Plants are nature's solar panels, converting sunlight into food through photosynthesis. These plants, whether they're towering redwoods, microscopic algae, or the lettuce in your garden, are called producers. They're the foundation of every food chain because they can make their own food, earning them the fancy scientific name autotrophs. Next come the consumers, which is basically everything that can't make its own food. The first in line are primary consumers, plant eaters, like rabbits, deer, and caterpillars. They're followed by secondary consumers, think foxes and owls, that hunt the plant eaters. Food chains even have tertiary consumers, top predators like wolves or sharks that hunt other predators. But what happens when these organisms die? That's where nature's cleanup crew comes in, the decomposers. Bacteria and fungi might not look impressive, but they're essential recyclers. They break down dead plants and animals into basic nutrients, enriching the soil so new plants can grow. It's their work that turns fallen leaves into rich soil and keeps the whole system running. This cycle never really ends. The nutrients released by decomposers feed new plants, which feed new herbivores, which feed new predators, and so on. It's a perfect example of nature's efficiency. Nothing goes to waste. And everything serves a purpose in this intricate dance of energy transfer. Understanding food chains helps us grasp something profound. Every living thing is connected. From the smallest bacteria to the largest whale, we're all part of this complex web of life, each playing our unique role in keeping our planet's ecosystems in balance. You've probably learned about food chains in school. You know, the neat little diagrams showing how a frog eats grass and then gets eaten by a snake. But nature isn't that simple. It's more like a massive potluck dinner where everyone's eating and being eaten by multiple guests. This is what scientists call a food web. Think of a food web as nature's version of a social network. It's just like how you might have connections with different friend groups. Animals don't stick to just one meal plan. A hawk might snack on mice one day and frogs the next. Those mice and frogs? They're busy eating various insects, seeds, and plants. It's this complexity that keeps ecosystems healthy. If one food source disappears, creatures have backup plans. But here's where it gets interesting. There isn't just one type of food chain within these webs. Nature's got several different dining styles going on. Ever wonder what happens to all those dead leaves and organisms? Enter the detritus food chain, nature's cleanup crew. Bacteria, fungi, and various tiny creatures break down dead stuff, turning it into nutrients that feed smaller organisms, which then feed larger ones. It's like nature's composting system, but way more sophisticated. This is probably the food chain you're most familiar with, the grazing food chain. It starts with plants soaking up sunlight and turning it into energy through photosynthesis. Herbivores munch on these plants, and then carnivores come along and eat the herbivores. Think of it as a 3-course meal where each diner becomes the next course. Nature also has some more specialized eating arrangements. There's the predator chain, where it's all about who's hunting whom. Then there's the parasitic chain, where tiny organisms make their living off larger hosts. Not exactly fine dining, but it works for them. Finally, there's the saprophytic chain, where decomposers like mushrooms break down dead material. What makes all this fascinating is how these different chains weave together. The more connections there are between these chains, the stronger the ecosystem becomes. It's like having a backup generator. If one power source fails, there are others to keep things running. So next time you're in nature, remember you're looking at something far more complex than a simple food chain. You're witnessing an intricate web of life where every species plays multiple roles in keeping the system running smoothly. It's messy, it's complex, and that's exactly what makes it work. What makes all this fascinating is how these different chains weave together. The more connections there are between these chains, the stronger the ecosystem becomes. It's like having a backup generator. If one power source fails, there are others to keep things running. So next time you're in nature, remember you're looking at something far more complex than a simple food chain. You're witnessing an intricate web of life where every species plays multiple roles in keeping the system running smoothly. It's messy, it's complex, and that's exactly what makes it work.